This is a podcast from soof.co.uk. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. This is all about film, whether it be Blu-ray, DVD or streaming. This is Bring the Film. Oppenheimer tells the story of American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his role in the development of the atomic bomb. It's directed by Christopher Nolan, stars Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon, Rami, Malek, Florence Pugh, amongst many others. And our film correspondent HAYLEY DONAGHY caught up with Cillian Murphy and Florence Pugh to ask Cillian about where he was and how he felt to receive the initial phone call from Christopher Nolan about the prospect of taking on this project.
I was at home. I can't remember, I was pottering around, and then it was Emma, his wife and producer, that called me because he doesn't have a cell phone, so she just passed the phone over to Chris. And I'm kind of used to this because it's happened to me before, and you always say yes because it's Chris, but this time he's in his very understated kind of British.
I was just wondering if you wanted to do available to, we've got this movie going, and
that's pretty much it. Yeah. And so it was kind of overwhelming. You always hope you get a couple of those calls in your career. So I did, and then, but immediately you start thinking about how much work is involved, and I got stuck. That was 6 months before we started shooting.
I was going to ask, how long was your prep?
Yeah, it was 6 months. I would have taken more, but it was 6 months. Yeah.
Florence, Chris Nolan said that everyone sort of became an expert in their own character and their motivations. I wondered what for you was the most helpful in your research and who she was.
Despite obviously the time that you meet her and obviously she leaves the storyline, there's a very much intense period of time between them meeting each other, their initial getting together, their fallout, and so the stuff that I had to do was very much in that specific tone, and I really wanted to see who she was kind of before that and before her depression really got to her. And she was, there's pictures of her and him that he's taken of her, and she's always like giggling and is very silly and always has hair all over the place. And I just thought, well, yeah, what is it that turned this man's head towards her? She must be pretty spectacular and intelligent and opinionated, and must in some way test him too. So I think for me, I really loved kind of knowing that about her, despite all of the scenes that we then had to do where she obviously wasn't feeling in that certain way. I very much held on to that.
Amazing. And Cillian, can we talk a little bit about working obviously with Florence on that character, but also with Emily and developing those two very different emotional relationships? Yeah,
the thing about this film is they're the best actors in the world, in my opinion. I've watched Florence's work for a long time now. I think she's absolutely stunning actor, and Emily I'd worked with before in Quiet Place 2, so we were pals and we knew each other. When you work with great actors, you kind of have to, it raises your game. That's an old cliche, but it's true, and this was the ultimate one of those for the whole cast. But yeah, in terms of the relationship between the two women, it was very, very tricky, but very important to who he was as an individual, because he was so complex and so contradictory, and it didn't make sense, a lot of his choices, moral kind of choices, so kind of plotting that was challenging, but when you got two extraordinary actors, it makes it easier.
It's very easy working with really talented, lots of people have been asking me what was it like being on set with all of these giants, and it's the biggest gift because you barely have to do anything. You're just reacting, you're just giving back whatever they've given you. It's a wonderful gift to be put in rooms like that.
Absolutely. And you got to film in some incredible locations. The real house, the office of Einstein. What was that like?
Oh, amazing, because the walls tell stories, that you can feel the vibrations from them, you can feel the energy. And we were
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Being in the exact space.
Yeah, we were in the Oppenheimer house in Los Alamos, and then Einstein's office, and then his Oppenheimer's office in Princeton, and but that's Chris, because he's always pushing the performers in to get the closest experience that the characters would. And again, you get something for free in those environments, I think.
Yeah.
Directed by Christopher Nolan, it's Oppenheimer, and it's available now. And with that, thanks for checking me out on the Bring the Film podcast today. I'm Patrick Downs, and you can keep in touch across Twitter at I'm Patrick Downs, also on Instagram, or facebook.com/official Pop Tart. And there's also the website soof.co.uk. This is a podcast from soof.co.uk.